My sister gave me this beautiful scarf.
Okay, it looks like we're live. Good morning, Facebook and YouTube, because we're going to be going to YouTube as well, Margie. So, good morning, everybody. Each week, I am interviewing inspiring people on my Tell Me More show. Last week, I had John Beeland, an American music producer. And this week, I have beautiful Margie Hare. Now, before I introduce Margie, I'm going to tell you all the things that she does. She's a highly skilled aromatherapist, a specialist in manual lymphatic drainage. Say that with your teeth in. Remedial massage therapist, author, award-winning herb expert, Qigong instructor, and so much more. And we might talk about some dragon boat racing while we're at it. So good morning, Margie.
Good morning, Kel-Anne, and to your beautiful listeners. Lovely to be on your show.
It's so wonderful to have you. Yes, each week I interview somebody that's within the industry, somebody inspiring that's within the industry that I'm working in. And because I'm working in entertainment, in mindset and in wellness, there's so many interesting people, and you're one of them in the health and wellness section. So I'm so excited to be, even though we've known each other for quite some time, I might even find out some things about you today that I didn't know.
True.
So thank you. We almost didn't make it. Margie's had computer issues all week. I got locked out of Facebook this morning, and then just before we went to go to air, it wouldn't let me in again. It's like, oh my God, we're here. We're here. We can breathe, as Margie's saying to me. Breathe, darling, breathe. Oh, don't you love technology? Oh my goodness. All right, so as you can probably detect from Margie's accent that you heard, she wasn't originally from Australia. So where were you born and raised, Margie?
I was born in Cape Town, South Africa. That's right in the south, where the Atlantic Ocean meets the Indian Ocean. So I grew up on the beach as a tiny baby, and I'm a water baby. So I love the beach. I love the sea. I love to swim. That's how I grew up.
Beautiful, beautiful. And were you there, through, primary school, high school, in the same area?
Primary school, high school, college. And I was married there, and there was a situation that occurred where it was very challenging for white women, and even more so for men, if you were retrenched or you chose to leave your full-time employ to get another job.
Oh.
So I was in a situation where I resigned because of what was happening within the company. It wasn't ethical, and my reputation, I wasn't prepared to put my reputation on the line. So I phoned my friend in Sydney. I said, listen, this is what's happened. He said, well, just come over, pack your case, come and stay with us, and just bring your CV and come for interviews. So I thought, okay. So I booked a trip. I was away for 6 weeks. And in the third week, I got a job. I was offered a job that would sponsor me into Australia. And I was absolutely blown away. I mean, I wanted that, but I didn't think it would happen so quickly. So for the extra 3 weeks, I had already been selected to race dragon boats in South Africa, for South Africa. So for the rest of the 3 weeks, I had to join the Parramatta Dragon Boat Club, which was our sister club in Cape Town.
Oh, wow.
And they train once a week on the Parramatta River. The rest they do in the gym. Now, I've never been in a gym. I don't like gym anyway, but I had to go because they would report back that I trained or I didn't train. If I hadn't trained, they would have dropped me from the team.
Wow.
And of course, not having done any of the gym work before, I came back with RSI. I could hardly paddle by the time I came home.
Oh,
so I was dropped from the team anyway. But what happened was, one of the teams was the British, what is the Navy? The Royal Navy. the Royal, whatever they will call themselves. And they're a men's team. And they needed women for the mixed team. So, of course, because I was in the South African team but dropped, I was one of the first to go in as a female into the mixed team. And we won gold. So I was very happy.
Congratulations. How good's that?
It was just fun.
What an adventure. Oh my gosh. So when you were working for that company in South Africa that, you know, wasn't ethical, and you went to Australia, so you were leaving something that you'd spent your whole life doing. You know, you're in your environment. How old were you when all this happened?
43.
Oh my God. How amazing is that?
And I only had 18 months to get my paperwork through for Australia. Your paperwork has to be submitted before. So, and actually I was 42 because it was before I turned 43, my paperwork had to be in to immigration for permanent residence.
Wow. So your children were grown up, and so you had
both my girls were living overseas at the time.
And your marriage had dissolved by that stage as well, I believe. Yeah. And then you were starting a whole new life without your family and friends in a brand new country.
Well, what happened when I got the job? They said, you have to be back here to take up the position in 6 weeks. Well, I had to sell my house, I had to sell my car, and I had to put everything in storage in 6 weeks. So what I would have done without my two sisters who helped me in those 6 weeks to get everything sorted so I could actually leave and take up the post, because people didn't really believe me when I said I'm going to immigrate. They didn't believe me.
Yeah.
So it happened so quickly. It was like a wave, and I was on the wave and I just surfed the wave. It felt like that. It happened so quickly.
How brave. But in between, you know, being born and leaving for Australia at 42, you developed an interest in natural products and natural healings. So I believe something happened when you were a young girl that sort of, you know, spiked that to happen. Can you tell us about that?
My mum was a mad gardener. So I was always, from a little girl, I think I was 5 when I was given my own gardening set. So I was always gardening, growing mint for my dad, who made the mint sauce on Sundays. And we had guava trees in the garden, and we always grew our own tomatoes. So I'd grown up with looking after and caring for a food garden, but only in those days, people didn't put poison on their things anyway. We didn't have poison. It was organic, even though it wasn't talked about as being organic. But in those days, we didn't have all the horrible stuff that they have today.
No.
But in the bottom of our garden, we had this massive plane tree with those huge big leaves and those puffballs. And I often used to go up into the tree with my teddy bears and my dolls, and we used to have picnics up in the tree, tea parties and things. And this one particular day, I obviously wasn't concentrating, and I fell out of the tree, and it was a big tree, massive big tree. And I actually broke my collarbone.
Ow.
But nobody thought to x-ray my hips. So from that serious fall, I was like this with a collarbone, but my hips were actually out of their socket. And that's, I think I was 7 when that happened. And when I was 21 or 22, and I was a crazy sports person. I was playing hockey. I was doing all sorts of sport. I've always done sport. But my hips were bothering me. I mean, and I did swim for school, and I certainly was a runner, even cross country. But my hips were bothering me. So anyway, I went and had an x-ray. And that's when they picked up. I was 20 odd, that the hips were out. And the surgeon, orthopedic specialist, said, no, we'll have to do a hip replacement. The damage is too severe. And my father said, no way. Yeah. And my mother, who has always only done natural things, she took me to a German naturopath. I still remember Dr. Nagel was his name, in Cape Town. And that's when I started my journey at the age of 21 or whatever it was. And I went on no meat at all, no red meat at all. And I had ozone therapy for months and months. And, you know, over time, it didn't rectify, but the pain was gone. I was able to continue with my sport. And subsequent to that, I ran 14 ultra marathons. We have a massive marathon in South Africa called Two Oceans. And it's 32 or whatever, 52 kilometers. I don't know how far it is. I've forgotten now. But the fact that I could actually run that distance, I mean, I obviously was not an elite athlete on the road at all, but I compete against myself on the road running. And so how lucky was I that I was able to still play sport at that level with my rather dicky hips.
Wow. And is that when you started your interest in herbs?
Oh no, that was from early on, from my mum's gardening. And when I was obviously still living in Cape Town, Cape Town didn't have a herb society. And the herb society was in Durban, and the lady knew about the work that I was doing. She flew to Cape Town and she said to me, would you be prepared to open the herb association in the Cape and train the branches, get the branches up and running and do what we do? I said, sure. So that's when I studied under the Herb Association of Southern Africa. And from 0 branches to, I think we had 28 branches when I left to come to Australia.
Wow.
So that's what I got my award for education in herbs.
Yes, because I noticed that you won Herb Woman of the Year.
Yeah, that was the year before I left South Africa.
And that is from educating and teaching people about herbs,
yes,
is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Running workshops and starting
Okay.
the branches, educating the branches until the branches were up and running and could run themselves. And then I would just go as a guest speaker or something like that.
Yeah, because I saw a photo of you in it, like a kitchen and a chopping with a knife and a chopping board, like so you would set up kitchens and show people how to use herbs and things.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's fascinating. Fascinating.
It feels like a world away,
Yeah, I know what you mean. When you start thinking back to what you've done, it's like you're talking about someone else, isn't it?
Yes. It feels a bit like
But it also, it shows you how far you've come.
Yes.
So you got to Australia.
Things change.
Well, we do. We evolve, and we have different interests and different goals. And so you're 42. You're in Australia, or you're probably 43 by the time you got here. And so you started a new job and a new life. When did the Qigong come into it? Was that in South Africa or when you got here?
In South Africa, I did attempt to do Tai Chi, not Qigong, Tai Chi.
Yes.
And I don't know whether I didn't have a very good teacher or whether I was just not very good, but I seemed to get injured. And with Tai Chi and Qigong, there's never injuries. So anyway, so I gave that up. When I landed in South Australia, which is where my posting was for my first position, I found a fabulous Qigong master there. And so for those 5 years in South Australia, I was under this lovely master, and I loved it. And we did it in the parklands. It was just fabulous.
Wow. Yeah, and you've done videos instructing people and everything on, you say it's so nice, Qigong.
Yes. And of course, when I got to Sydney, I thought, oh my gosh, now what do? I need to find another master. And my best friend in the clinic, she said, oh, I've got a master that I go to sometimes. Come, let's go. And that was that. Then I studied under him for 20 years.
Wow. So then you became a Qigong master.
No, I'm not a master. I'm just
You're not an instructor?
Yeah.
Okay. To me, you'd be a master because I have no idea.
No, darling, I'm just an instructor, and I love it. But it's quite difficult at the moment because I'm traveling such a lot. I can't start classes and then leave and go away for 3 weeks and then come back for a couple of weeks. So at the moment, I'm actually not instructing at all, which is for the first time ever. So
you're just using it for your own health benefits.
Yeah.
Yes, I know my husband does it. He puts on videos and he does Qigong every day. So I have seen some of it, and there's a couple of exercises I've done that I must admit, it's very calming.
Very.
Yeah.
It brings balance back into the whole body. Yeah.
Okay, so what about being a lymphatic drainage specialist? Where did that evolve? Was that South Africa or here?
No, in South Africa, there wasn't such a thing when I trained. And after I had been working for 3 years in my position, well, not after, during that period, I knew I had to do the job I was given as part of my contract to stay. I had to stay in that job for 3 years.
Yeah.
But I thought, I don't think I can do this, because having worked in the wine industry, and I was a marketing manager there with the responsibilities and the title and the job. When I got here, you got the title, but you didn't have the job, if that makes any sense.
Oh,
and
okay.
I was very not impressed at all. There were very few women in the marketing area in wine in those days.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought, I'm not going to go back and do what I did 20 years ago. So when it came to my 3 years, I went to immigration. I said, listen, I've done the job for 3 years. Am I allowed to leave? They said, yes, you can leave. You've been a perfect immigrant. I said, thank you very much. I went back to the job and I spoke to the owner and I said, I need to resign. He said, oh, fine. Because they knew I was unhappy the way it was.
Yeah.
And they were so nice. They gave me my car and that was it. And I just went to the local beautician who didn't have a massage therapist, and I was the local massage therapist. And that's when I had to go back to college, because there were subjects missing for my accreditation. And
so when had you learned massage therapy?
In South Africa.
In South Africa, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't ever practice as a massage therapist, but I trained there. I did aromatherapy, reflexology, all of that.
So that's when you did all that.
Yeah.
Was in South Africa.
But I had to upgrade when I got to Australia to be able to practice. They were very strict in that. They still are. You can't just come from another country and practice.
Start rubbing people. Yes. So how did the lymphatic drainage come into it?
So I went to the South Australian Health Education Centre to do my upgrades in all my subjects that were missing. And one of my elective subjects was lymphatic drainage, which I knew nothing about. And my tutor in that subject, I was one of a few, very few mature students. And she said, you know, Margie, you've got really good hands. You are a mature student. You really should specialize in lymphatic drainage. So anyway, I finished the course and I quite liked it. And she was the one that said, you need to go to the Vada School. It's the best school in the world. And so that's what I did. I trained through the Vada School, and that was that.
Wow. And can you explain to the viewers what lymphatic drainage is? And also, before you do that, Margie, I must remind everyone to put their comments in the comments section, and love us and like us and all that sort of stuff. Give your comments. But also, if they're watching it on replay, to put #replay and let us know where they're commenting from. You know, are they in Australia? They, you know, in South Africa? They in, you know, the UK, America, wherever they're from. If they can just put down where they're from as well. So sorry, Margie, go on.
So that was at the end of that year, and then my tutor came back to me and she said, right, the Vada teachers or instructors are coming to Australia. Why don't you join the class? So my girlfriend and I, we joined the class. And for us as massage therapists, remedial massage therapists, the handwork was very easy. So I got hold of that really easily. But the pathologies, the nurses, they flew through pathologies and they flew through bandaging. I struggled like hell with the bandaging and the pathologies. So actually, I passed 1 and 2, but I failed 3. So I had to do another whole year before I actually qualified as a Dr. Vada therapist.
Yes.
And as a Dr. Vada therapist, what they do is every 2 years you have to upgrade your qualifications. It's not really your qualifications, is you just go and be what they call recertified, where you get brought up to date with the latest research, any papers, etc. And they check your techniques to make sure your techniques are still up to standard, because they're very strict. It doesn't matter where you go in the world, whether you're in America, South Africa, Europe, you'll get the same treatment. Doesn't matter if you're a Dr. Vada therapist, you have the same treatment wherever you go. Same bandaging, same laser work. So that's why, as a VODA therapist, I don't deviate from what we are recognized and what is approved by the VODA school.
That's fantastic. That's really fantastic.
And I've had this dream to go to the VODA school in Austria. It's on the Waalsche Lake, and it's a retreat. It's not really a hospital, because people go there once a year for 3 weeks, and they have the intense bandaging and exercise, and it's a retreat. They go there once a year, and it's paid for by the government. It's part of their health system. So in Austria, there's no gross edemas because it's all managed.
Wow.
And so because I have qualified to go to Croatia, after Croatia, I'm going to Austria. I'm going to the
Oh, that's wonderful.
So I'm really excited. I'm just going to spend the day there and just observe and talk to some of the teachers and just absorb it, you know.
Oh, how beautiful is that? Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Can you explain more to people, though, exactly when lymphatic drainage is being used, on what sort of patient would be having that therapy?
So Dr. VODA was a massage therapist back in the 1930s. And this technique is what he developed. And after, I think it took him 6 to 10 years to have that therapy, this particular technique that we do or trained to do, to have it recognized as a medical professional technique. And he got, I think, 10 doctors who tested it, and they authorized it. And from then on, it became a recognized technique. And initially, it was to relieve the lung congestion. But in doing that, it did a whole lot of other things, which they were not expecting.
So this is for people with lymphedema.
Initially it was actually through lung infections in the cold.
Oh, just people with lung infections.
Lung infection, to get rid of the fluid that's building up in the lungs. Because what it does, it drains fluid manually. We drain fluid from anywhere, whether it's the limb or the back of the eyes. It doesn't matter. We can drain fluid from anywhere, absolutely anywhere in the body.
Wow. Yeah. It's amazing.
So most of the specialized work that I do is women and men who've had cancer, and the lymphedema, which is the fluid collecting in the limb or whichever part of the body.
Yeah.
It's brought on most often by intervention with surgery or radiation. Chemo does not cause lymphedema, but radiation definitely does.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. So then they need to have.
It can be well managed. If the patient's compliant, it can be really well managed for years and years and years. It doesn't need to get to a gross edema where other things can take place.
Like cellulitis. Is it cellulitis or something?
No, cellulitis is an infection of the skin, which happens when it's unmanaged, when there's fluid collecting and you get what they call a subclinical condition happening under the skin. It's an infection. Wow. And that can spread throughout the body. That's serious. That's very serious.
Wow. Wow. So you now work at a clinic a couple of days a week, 2 to 3 days a week, is it that you do that?
One in Chatswood, one in Bayview. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're based on the Northern
semi-retired. I'm semi-retired.
Yes. You're doing other things that you love to do.
Yes.
So you've got nature health.
Yep.
Is your business.
Yes.
And so you tell everybody what that business does, what it's all about.
So my mission is to help patients take charge of their health naturally. That is my mission statement. And I don't believe, for me as a therapist, I want any patient to be reliant on me. I want to give them the tools that they know how to manage their condition, whether they're traveling, whether they're overseas, whether they're at home, whether it's a sunny day, whether it's mosquito season. I want them to have all the tools in their toolbox to completely manage their condition and not be reliant on someone to say, woe is me, my leg's swollen again. No, oh, my arms got blown up. I'm not really interested. I want to empower them to take charge. And all that they need to do is come for a monthly or 6 weekly or 2 monthly lymphatic drainage treatment to keep the lymphatics healthy and strong. That's it. But then they've got to do all the things they need to do. They need to swim. They need to wear their garments. They need to skin brush. You know, they need to cut down on fats because fat's attracted to a lymphatic compromised limb. So they have to be just conscious of their eating habits.
It all comes back down to, you know, mind, body, and spirit. It's
Yes,
you know,
yes.
attitude, what you're putting into your body, you know, how you're thinking.
Yeah.
We are what we think. So yeah. That's it's so fascinating. Really, I didn't realize that situation with cancer patients with radiation. I didn't realize that. Yeah. So that's fantastic. So
what is a big worry is that patients are not actually told about the preventative aspects of prior to having radiation.
Right.
So prior to having radiation, they can be fitted with an arm sleeve or a leg, whatever, wherever the radiation is going to be, to prevent the lymphedema developing.
Right.
Yeah, because if the fluid is still continually being drained even with the radiation, it can help prevent. I'm not saying it will, but it can help prevent lymphedema developing. But most often they wait until the arm is swollen up and then it's too late. You know, it doesn't go away. It's not curable. It doesn't go away.
You can only
manage it really well.
Manage it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like that in so many things, isn't it, with the medical profession?
Yeah.
There's so many things they can tell their patients to prevent things happening, but they're not trained to do that.
No.
They're trained to, oh, you've got that, oh, here's this pill, take that. You know, it's
or you've got lymphedema, live with it, you're alive. I mean, that's to me the worst thing that they say.
That's
just
sad.
live with it.
That's sad.
Yeah.
You're doing wonderful work, Margie. Absolutely wonderful. So what's your vision for the future? What goals, apart from going to Austria after Croatia, what goals do you have for the future for yourself and your business?
Well, from just this little pocket of my life, which is about lymphedema management, I've started a lymphedema support group. So once a month, we have just an open forum where we have sometimes, I've partnered with an American patient, and she's amazing. She's 100% compliant. And we run this once a month where we take on a specific subject as it relates to these patients. They come on, we record it. So if the time span is difficult, it has to tie in with her and I in America. Then they send it out. They forward it to their family members or whatever. And to me, that's just a service to help spread the word that there are ways and means of them being able to take charge of their condition in a very natural way. So that is in a way my way of giving back in that area. But I was bitten by a tick and I was very sick. I had to close both clinics. And my friend kept saying, oh, you must take this product. And I said, well, I'm not interested. I just want to get well. Anyway, the long and the short of it, I eventually, after 4 calls, I said, yes, I'd take the bloody stuff. And this was the product that actually saved my life. After being sick for about 18 months, it really reduced the oxidative stress, which is what caused by this bacteria in my blood.
Yeah.
And it's changed everything about how I do things. And now my mission is to just spread the word far and wide, because we can influence the lives of so many people by just sharing this gift of health. And, what I love about it is the 2 aspects. In the Philippines, we are building or finding a location for a new home for unmarried mothers who've been thrown out of their homes and have been discarded by the community because they're pregnant. They might have been raped. Who knows?
Mm.
But these poor women with their young babies. So we are taking care of that aspect from a charitable point of view.
Yes.
And the other thing is, within the company, when you reach a level of Pro 7, you can apply to be part of the Mexican village building. And what we do is we build villages. It only happens every second year. We go to Mexico and we build a village. We go there for like 6 weeks, and we are the laborers. We build the village.
I've seen videos of this. It's just
Yes,
beautiful to see.
yes. And
the families afterwards.
Yes, and
so
there are women and children
grateful.
who've been part of domestic violence.
Yeah.
So those are my two big missions that I'm so grateful to have this work that I can also give back in a big way. So
I saw videos too of the young girls in the Philippines and the state of where they're living. It's just so sad.
Yes.
So yeah, they're beautiful charities to be helping, definitely.
So that's and I'm just so lucky to have this opportunity. And sometimes, in life, an opportunity knocks, and you don't take you don't take advantage because you think it's not for you. What if I had said no another time?
Yeah.
What if? But luckily I didn't, because Trish was so rude to me for the peepers, But you know what? If someone that you might be touching or that I might be touching, if they say no, it really means we need to go back to them again until they see what we see. And this is the opportunity of improved health and also giving people a step up. That's what I think.
It helps you with the Lyme disease, but it also helped you with the heart condition, that genetic heart condition that you
absolutely. I don't take any medication at all. None at all.
Yeah. But your specialist thought that you had been taking his medication, and then you told him, no, I've been taking this instead. And he said, well, keep taking it.
That's right. And actually, as we've progressed, because when I started, there was only NRF2. And as the new products have come on, I've kept taking them to him. And he says, keep taking them. And he forwards his cardiology patients to me. And I just put them on the product.
I think that, and it's definitely the NRF2 has definitely helped my health beyond. And, I have now specialists actually putting it in their letters to my doctor for me to continue to take it, because it's actually proven to them that it has worked. So I can testify to that as well. But I think it's just the way of the world. Yes, this, is a unique product and it's absolutely amazing. But in general, natural products are coming back because so many people have had severe side effects from pharmaceutical medication.
Absolutely.
I saw it, with my mum in particular, but you hear stories all the time. And, it's the way we're moving forward. And with herbs, with organic gardens, with everything that's happening in the shops, people are talking about go to Bunnings and, get these things and learn how to grow your own vegetables. And people are getting back to that organic, growing your own, eating healthy organic products, not taking a drug, but taking something that's, a natural product. It's a movement that's happening. It's the way we are definitely traveling.
Exactly.
Yes. Well, what you're doing is just fantastic. And anybody that wants to contact Margie to learn more, there could be somebody listening that knows somebody that's about to have radiation. They might want to let them know about what you explained today. There might be somebody who's on the other side of that and needs to manage their lymphedema. There could be somebody who's just interested in Qigong or learning how to do dragon boat racing.
They just need to Google dragon boat racing near me, and then you will find there are dragon boat clubs everywhere, all over. And it doesn't matter what country you're in, there's dragon boats everywhere, and it's such a fun sport.
I had never heard of it until I met you. So there you go. I had no idea. Used to live at North Parramatta. I had no idea they were doing dragon boat racing on the river. So,
I thought I was one of the oldest doing the dragon boats. But a couple of weeks ago, there was a lady in her pinks, because we've got a team of pinks, which are the pink ladies are the cancer survivors who have their own team, and they race against other pink ladies.
Oh, wow.
And this pink lady was on a day where the pink ladies weren't racing with us. And I went up to her and I said, hi. I said, I'm Margie, but you're a pink lady because you're wearing a pink, but you're not wearing your arm sleeve, because she didn't have a compression garment on.
Oh.
And she said, oh, I haven't worn it for 5 years. I'm in remission. I said, fantastic. And she said, you know why? It's because I race dragon boats. And then she said to me, do you know how old I am? And I said, maybe 70. She said, I'm 84. She's 84 and she races dragon boats, and her lymphedema is in remission.
Oh my God. So you're a spring
exactly. So you're never too old to race dragon boats.
You're never too old to do anything. Yes. I learned that from my grandmother, but also Louise Hay, who everybody has heard of. I think was she 80 when she learned to do art? Was it the art or yoga? There was something she learned at 8. I mean, she started Hay House at 50 something.
I know.
Oh, so yeah, it's never too late for anything.
Exactly.
Never too late for it. But thank you, Margie, so much for being my special guest today, because I did learn some stuff from you today that I didn't know.
Oh, well, isn't that interesting? I didn't know I had anything to share, because, as your life goes on, other things tend to go into the background while you're focused on what's right here, right now.
Yeah.
So,
and where you're going to go and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I knew that that you had a big story to tell. So, and I didn't ask you, before we do finish, I didn't ask you about being an author. What was that about?
Well, with all the work that I did with herbs, my book was Herbs for Every Reason. And I'd written the book, and it's still in a box under the table here. And I took it to an editor. And in a week's time, he phoned me and said, I'm sorry, that's not good enough. I can't edit that for you. And it's still in the box that he gave it back to me in. And I've never taken the lid off that box. It's still in the box. But what happened was, I was lecturing at Hopewood Health Retreat, where I worked for 12 years when I first arrived in Sydney. And so I worked in the therapy department doing aromatherapy and lymphatic drainage, but I lectured at the weekends, right? And one particular day I was doing the aromatherapy lecture, and there was a gentleman in the back row. And at the end of it, he came to me and he said, would you write a book about that lecture you've just given? I said, sure. I didn't even, I just said, yeah, sure. And the next minute I had an editor and I had a photographer, and they flew me up to the Gold Coast for the shoot. And that was that. So I wrote this book. I mean, I didn't have a lot of control, so I didn't like the title. And the contract they gave me, my lawyer said, no, I mustn't sign. I said, no, but I want to write a book. He said, well, it's not a good contract. So anyway, I signed the contract, and it was a very bad contract. But anyway, so what? I had this gorgeous book published, and it's sold, I don't know, 60,000, I don't know, 600,000 copies in 5 different countries all over the world. And then I've had people contact me, say, oh, I've just read your book and blah, 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 blah. So it from an aromatherapy point of view, it's just a basic beginner's journal. That's really what it is. Because when you're lecturing at a place like Hopewood, you're dealing with people who don't know much about aromatherapy oils.
Yeah.
So it was a very basic journal that I wrote. And that was that. So the herb book is still under my
Can you still get that aromatherapy book?
It's out of production, actually.
Oh, because I was going to point people to where they can get it.
It's out of
if
production.
They want to get the herb one, you've got to get it out of the box.
It's still in the box. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that when I'm 80.
Oh my, well, I'm glad I asked that question about the author part.
But there is a book that I have written. It's an ebook, and my best friend Anna Lyon, on her 3 days before she died, she looked at me and she said, "You are going to finish this book we've written, aren't you?" Well, we hadn't finished the book, and I said, "Yes, of course I am." And the book we called Lymphomation. So it's all about the lymphatic system, but it's lympho and then mation. So it's information about the lymph system and what people can do, how they can take charge and everything. So that book is not, it's sections of it are published, but it's not fully published yet.
Okay.
It has been edited, but it's not fully published yet, but it will be.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you've done so many things and you're still doing so many things. You're always doing things. Very inspiring, Margie. I've so loved chatting with you today and letting everybody know all about Margie Hare.
Kel-Anne, thank you. And I just love working with you. I love your energy. And I'm so blessed that LinkedIn put us together.
Well, that's right, because that's how we met initially, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Now I'm grateful that we connected too, because
Yes.
my cells, my health are so much healthier after you telling me about that product.
Good. I'm so pleased.
And just knowing you has been just beautiful. That aside, just being your friend has been fantastic.
Thank you.
But stay on, because I'll say goodbye to you separately, but we'll say goodbye to everyone on Facebook. It's afternoon now, isn't it? So we'll say good afternoon to everybody, and don't forget to put something in the comments, guys. I'll see everybody next Friday. Next Friday, actually, I'm interviewing a lady called Sandy Foster, and Sandy is a mentor of mine and someone I trained with. She's a life coach, someone I trained with many years ago, but she's also an author and many things. So yeah, Sandy Foster next week, but I'll tell everyone more about that later. But meanwhile, thank you, Margie, and as I said, stay on, and we'll say goodbye to Facebook.
Bye now.
Bye everyone.